All right, yo, what is going on? It is another edition after what feels like it's been like a year since we did this, even though it was like a couple of weeks. You got holidays and personal stuff you got to throw up in there. Slade
PJ.
We are the Bush League Mud Show, episode 29. Hopefully you all are having a great holiday season so far. Hopefully your Thanksgivings were pretty solid as well. PJ, you got a lot of kids, man, a lot of mouths to feed. How was it for you, you and the wife?
We survived. There was enough to eat. It lasted maybe until like Saturday, and then it was all gone. But we didn't have a WWE-style food fight like usually happens for every holiday. So at least we didn't have that this year.
Well, your kids, they prefer burning furniture.
Burning furniture, yes. They are all extreme.
Did you and the kids, you guys ever get around to watching that Undertaker New Day on Netflix?
They wanted to.
Okay.
But, however, my wife was on Hulu the other night and discovered the WWE Classic from 2015, Santa's Little Helper. The Ms. Page Christmas movie, which I did not know was out there, and that got a pop in our house.
Really?
I guess.
Did you watch it with them, or
no.
you were not a part of these festivities?
If I was in there, I would say, well, that's bullshit, and that's it's probably better with me not in the room.
Episode 29, we're going to go over, we got WWE. We're going to talk about them no longer offering DVDs and Blu-rays. We think we got a pretty good reason why, and that with that being said, I'm kind of like, well, what took them so long? Not that I'm for or against it, but we'll get into that. We'll talk about the company. They're going to be moving their headquarters pretty soon from Stanford. And then we're also going to talk about some news in regards to Elias, Ronda Rousey, Karrion Kross, what he's going to be up to for the time being. The former Braun Strowman doing some pretty good charitable things. AEW will talk about their contracts. That's something that people have been wondering about as far as how Tony Khan's going to handle the talent and their contracts when they come up. And apparently WWE making some accusations against AEW that I actually find to be quite comical that we'll talk about. And we'll talk about who was all at Dynamite this past weekend or this past week.
Yeah.
And we'll also talk about someone who very well known in the business in AEW who is going to be changing their gimmick again. We'll jump on that. But we started off with WWE becoming the latest thorn in the NCAA's ass. And actually, this is not new. This started earlier this year with Bobby Stevenson, and before him, the brother. But the WWE launching a new NIL program to recruit future talent. And as I told you, and we talked about it a little bit, we didn't want to blow our whole load, before the podcast. We actually want to get a genuine reaction. But now we know this is, whether we're for or against it, this is what the company, when they talked about going forward, how they're going to be recruiting, they're not looking at the indies anymore. They're not necessarily looking for people with pro wrestling backgrounds. They're looking for, they have in mind kind of like an NFL scouting combine type of approach to this in terms of they have an ideal size, ideal look, ideal this, ideal that as far as what they're looking for future superstars, people they could get to come into the Performance Center and work their way.
Yeah. That's the thing, too. If you look at the success they've had with getting guys like this, you can't argue with the track record. Now, not everyone's going to develop like that, but, the Kurt Angles, the Brock Lesnars. Rock, I would throw in there a little bit, I guess.
I would throw Rock in there.
I would throw because I think they would have gone after him, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, it took a year when the CFL and then he bounced back.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for those kind of guys who don't have that clear path avenue to the pro sports immediately. Absolutely. Dwayne, now, he came from a family,
yes.
But you're absolutely right. If they would have gotten one look at that guy and they didn't know he was related, or if he was never related to who he was related, absolutely, they probably would have been after him.
So I'm guessing this is they're probably going back and to say, hey guys, this is how we got our mega stars, was from college athletes. And you know what? I can't blast this too much because they're right. These guys are on TV, especially if they get some more of the football guys that are a little bit more, they've got some guy, Parker Brodeur right now, I believe at NXT. I know he played at UCF and was featured. They call him like Mini Brock. I know he's in the training center right now. I don't know.
Rex Steiner.
Yeah, Rex Steiner, of course. There's the ultimate, too. He was on the Ravens practice squad, but, he played the college ball. 1 year out, basically. And here he is.
And we know, obviously, they've got main event plans for him down the road.
So I can't argue with this with this at all. I actually think it's pretty smart where I guess if they were going to outdo and just get rid of all the indie stuff and you want guys to work your style because basically that's what they want anyways, they're stop fighting the indie guys, and who knows, this could work for them.
Yeah, so as we mentioned before, Gable Steveson, he signed now his brother had already signed previous before him, but Steveson was the first official NCAA NIL, which is name, image, and likeness deal. That was back in September, shortly after the NCAA began allowing athletes to make money from their own name, image, and likeness. Now, WWE, they announced their own program, and this is to enhance that talent development process through the partnerships with college athletes. Mm-hmm. And for the first time since he had his operation to correct his cardiac issues, it was nice to see Triple H out and about. He was a part of the building tour for the new for the new headquarters for WWE. But he was the head on this in terms of the press release. He spoke on this. He talked about it, and he said, quote, "The WWE, the NIL program has the potential to be a transformational to our business by creating partnerships with elite athletes at all levels across a wide variety of college sports. We will dramatically expand our pool of talent and create a system that readies NCAA competitors for WWE once their collegiate careers come to a close." So the first class of the NIL partnerships said to be revealed in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, okay.
So now a part of this, what you will get is all athlete partnerships. They will have access to the Performance Center in Orlando, along with other resources such as there's brand building, media training, communications, live event promotion, creative writing, and community relations. And some athletes will even be offered a WWE contract after completing the program. So what this tells me, all the access they're giving immediately, and what they're trying to, based on this, media training, communications, live event promotion, they're looking for these cats to hit the ground running as soon as they're done in college sports. Probably Performance Center, 6 to 12 months?
Yeah.
Maybe quicker if they're fast learners. They probably want to get – this is your NXT 2.0 right here.
Yes.
This is what NXT 2.0, 100% what they plan for that roster to be entirely here within the next 12 to 18 months.
And I know the story, too, is if this was – if NILs were able to happen about 20 years ago, Brock Lesnar would have been on there, because I know Jerry Briscoe tells the story – they didn't approach Brock with a contract. They had a handshake agreement his senior year of college, but no money was exchanged. So, I believe this would have been Brock probably would have been one of the first NIL guys out there because of that story where they basically had him his junior year at University of Minnesota. But, again, Briscoe had those relationships. And we were kind of talking off air, too. I know Triple H, figurehead with the press release, I'm sure he'll do goodwill. But Jerry Briscoe was a guy that they used a lot. That he had all the wrestling coaches and all. And I understand it's just not wrestling. They're going to be looking at football guys, whoever else, college athletes. Yeah. But he had the connections for all, the great collegiate wrestlers. Hey, how about giving this a shot? Yeah. I would wonder if they go back to him maybe a little bit to help him out. I don't know if the bridge is burned there or not, but I know Briscoe's getting up there, too, in age. I don't know how much he wants to hit the road or not, but he has the wealth of connections. This program seems like it'd be perfect
also
for him to
think
help
about
out.
All of the college gymnastics competitors.
Well,
seriously,
that too,
those who will not, unfortunately, maybe make a Team USA or Team Canada or the Olympic Games or whatever, but they want to further – they're not ready to get into the real world in terms of work. So
that's
Cirque du Soleil. So this will be very interesting. I think, you got to get with it. This is just where they want to go. They have pretty much told you through their moves over the last several plus years, they don't want to be necessarily just associated with pro wrestling anymore.
Yep.
They don't care about that. Yep. They have their way that they want to do things now. They operate as if they are Disney, as if they are a part of those kind of companies. They look at themselves, look at the promos.
Yeah.
When was the last time you honestly heard someone say wrestling or pro wrestling or anything? We just heard Charlotte Flair cut a promo on SmackDown last week that she's still the best thing in sports entertainment. Like it's they've already told you who they are, what they want to be, what they aspire to be. And so when you want to be that, I guess you can do away with the traditional wrestling school in Jersey, cutting your teeth on the indies, because there are no territories anymore.
No.
You know, and Vince took care of that back in the 80s with the territories.
Yeah.
He's already told you what he wants to be, and this is the evolution of what they want. And if this is what they want, then kudos to them for keeping their thumb on the ball when it comes to the NCAA and staying on top of this. And they had to have been watching this just like everyone else for the longest time in terms of what the NCAA was going to do.
Also, don't underestimate Nick Khan in this, too. He definitely, as, again, a former guy that worked at an agency.
A pro sports guy.
Saw, the athlete things. A lot of people, obviously he doesn't have the greatest maybe respect with a lot of people right now with all the releases and everything going on. But with this has got to have his fingerprints all over it.
Not to mention Seaman before they let Seaman go.
Yeah.
This was a guy who was a pro volleyball player.
Yep.
Played collegiately. He was a guy who was going not just here in the States, but going around the world, scouting talent from all different backgrounds to try to bring it to the company, get them ready for the performance center. I mean, so this is something that they have been doing. They just were not signing NIL agreements with people. They were just actual performance center training type deals. Now, boom, you got your dibs on these athletes who pretty much have a good idea by the time they're a senior anyways. Whether they're going to pursue or whether they have a shot of taking that next level of approach. I mean, I don't know. Playing the CFL where I'm capped off at a certain I'm not making anywhere close to $1 million. I'm still getting taxed. I think your highest paid, I'm just talking football, CFL. Last I checked, like $300,000, $350,000, something like that in terms of some of your highest paid players. Do I want to leave the States, be an import in the CFL, or do I want to get paid to train? And I'll be on the road, but I'm doing something a little,
And let's not forget about the basketball players. Mr. Callaway was pretty good at basketball, and Kevin Nash. And, those guys, do you want to go over play, in Turkey?
Undertaker, he cracked that joke. He talked about it with Kevin Hart on Cold as Balls. Playing in Lithuania wasn't necessarily appealing to him, so he decided I'm going to go to wrestling school.
So, he got some athletic big guys on the basketball team. NBA's not going to be in the future. Maybe, see them, see what they could do. It's worked in the past, so... Again, I think it is a positive thing for them, obviously. Like we said, this is the route they want to go. And I give them kudos for establishing this and getting ahead of it, especially with how new the NIL agreements all are. And I know there's people like Rovell out there that is blasting it because, how much money these corporations are losing when these guys have bad games and they get tanked, like, what's his name from Clemson, the quarterback. He signed one, and I think with Dr. Pepper, and then all of a sudden, Clemson not as great as they thought. But still, I think, these
let
guys
Dr. Pepper pay the price on that.
That's the thing, though. But they're still making out. Yeah. You're still getting coverage on Saturday from top players that you wouldn't have got normally. So, I don't think these companies are really losing out. The big ones, maybe the small local ones, because we've talked about this too. I think you brought up the good point where, how does the local hometown dealership or something like that sponsor the hometown athlete? And I wonder if that, would pay any of this when all this comes all to a head.
Rhett Bomar was extremely pissed when this finally went through.
Yes.
It's like, dude, I could have gotten away officially with the dealership, clocking in and never working a second.
I know.
Rhett Bomar, unless you know who that – look it up sometime. Rhett Bomar, former Oklahoma quarterback. All right, WWE DVDs and Blu-rays will no longer be offered in the United States.
Well.
Yeah, the Wrestling DVD Network, they reported that earlier in the week. Actually, I want to say earlier today, WWE was no longer going to be offering that starting next year in 2022. The last physical media release is set to be Survivor Series 2021, which that's going to be dropped on December 28th, so later on this month. Wow. Home video release on Drew McIntyre is also set to be released, and that's going to be on the 14th. The report is also saying that will likely mean that further releases in Canada and Australia will also no longer be happening, with Australia's final releases of the 2021 pay-per-view events taking place in March. And in the UK, the Day 1 and Royal Rumble releases are currently scheduled to be released through Fremantle, which distributes WWE DVDs and Blu-rays in that part of the region. And with WWE, the home video releases, man, I didn't even realize this goes all the way back to 1985.
That's right.
And with the VHS
Coliseum
tapes,
Video?
Yes, through Coliseum. Yeah,
Yes.
They're a video distribution company that was later renamed to WWE Home Video with their first DVD releases. One that was focusing on Stone Cold Steve Austin back in the day, and another one on WrestleMania 15. They dropped those around 1999. Well, anyways, with this story, it's not the biggest deal. We kind of know why they're phasing this out. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, you got people, you're licensing your network for $1 billion every 5 years.
Yes.
This is going to be the new norm in terms of once their deal is up with Peacock, all right, highest bidder. Peacock, is it you or are we going to get it from somebody else? Yeah. This is what it is now.
Well, when you named off Survivor Series 2020, I'm like, who in the hell would actually go out and rent that goddamn DVD or buy that thing? You could just pay the $4.99 or someplace and get the damn thing free on the Peacock, and you don't have to pay that shit.
Yeah, bottom line, they will probably starting to really not see a return on those anymore.
No.
Who was ordering that?
I don't know.
Who's buying that?
I was trying to think, what is the
amount
last
of money
one
to
I actually
get
saw?
them put together, shipped out, shipping cost alone, and this and that. Yeah, it was.
I'm trying to think. I mean, the last one I may have bought was in 2000.
Okay.
Or bought or I think it was a WrestleMania one.
And then you started burning them on LimeWire.
Then we started going to LimeWire and Napster and everything else.
Slade snitching, pay attention.
Yes. Sorry, Lars.
WWE, we got some details on the company moving the headquarters in Stamford. They are now planning to move the employees into the new company headquarters in late 2022.
Oh, okay.
We just saw this, a couple of weeks ago? Yeah. Everybody's got their hard hats on and shit. Vince and Triple H. And I can't remember, did we see Steph in that too, or was it just mainly the men?
I think it was just the guys.
The current headquarters currently located at 1241 East Main Street in Stamford, but they're going to be moving 2 miles west to 677 Washington Boulevard. That I don't care about in terms of the addresses, but I will say that it is bittersweet. It is sad to see that the building where they shot perhaps the greatest WWE commercial, arguably,
for the Super Bowl,
to kick off the Attitude, to kick off the Attitude Era, the Super Bowl commercial with the guy flying out of the top of the building and Vince, get it. Great shit.
Yep.
That is my top memory. Please don't tell me Money in the Bank is your top memory of the Stamford headquarters for WWE.
We got a couple good
Rey
ones.
Mysterio being thrown off the building.
That's not it. Stone Cold as the boss. Coming into the building, telling the receptionist how they answer the phone.
Yes.
That was great. And, of course, going up to Vince's office, having all the shit dumped in there.
Yeah.
Going to the board meetings and how they're supposed to be drinking beer. I remember that one.
Do we give an honorable mention to Triple H and
I was gonna say Brock
Great Khali with the prostate exam?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was a funny one coming in Vince's office with Great Khali with the glove and the prostate exam.
Yeah, there was that. And, of course, Brock just beating the shit out of Triple H's office a couple years ago. I mean, that was a good one, too. But, yeah, that building, pretty historic, the big WWE thing and all that. From what I understand, they have multiple buildings there. It's just this is the corporate headquarters, and the TV building's a separate entity in itself where they do all the editing and filming and all that. But, yeah, I heard they're leasing now space, I believe, to other companies in this deal, in this new area. And
something that Nick Khan worked out.
Yeah, so, I'm not surprised by that. So they're not going to be the big glass building that you're accustomed to seeing with WWE. I remember, too, wasn't it that one time they had a blizzard and they couldn't do Raw? It was like the one time they couldn't do Raw on the East Coast because they were getting nailed by a blizzard, and they had to film it right there. And I think they did a scene from on top of the roof or something like that.
Yeah. Well, someone else that's going to be moving, but they're going to be moving from the company as opposed to moving with the company for the new headquarters. Scott Aycock is no longer going to be
board name.
Well, it doesn't override the Seaman name.
No, it does. Yeah.
Now, if you're not familiar with who Scott Aycock is, he was, after working in law enforcement, he had started working for the company as a tour bus driver back in November of 2005. This is at least according to his LinkedIn page, but he had experience in being a driver as he had done so as a freelancer since back in the day. In addition to doing that, he was also brought on as security consultant and executive.
Is he the bald guy? I remember from seeing in live events.
I believe so.
Yes. Okay. Now
I believe so.
Okay,
yes. So, he was brought on as a security consultant and executive protection person back in 2005. He kept that role for about 16 years. That unfortunately ended this past week. Now, it is not it's currently not known if it has anything to do correct with the Seth Rollins incident on Raw, where Seth was unfortunately attacked by a fan. Now, we ended up we didn't do an episode that week, but by now everybody knows about it, so there's really no need for us to talk about it, I guess. He wrote the following on his page regarding his departure from the company that he's been with the last 16 years. He said, quote, "I'm closing one huge chapter, starting another one. This month of November is the end of my amazing career with World Wrestling Entertainment after 17 years. The memories will last forever. The friendships will last in my heart for eternity. Some amazing, hardworking people that I've been blessed to get to know. May God bless you all. I will see you all down the road." Now, Dave Meltzer is mentioning on Twitter that he already has a new job lined up. According to Meltzer,
he's all elite.
Well,
jeez, all elite security. I mean,
well, if Meltzer's reporting it, he could be.
Well, I was going to say the way they do, they'd bring back Doug Dillinger because they like if you're bringing Tully and Arn back, you may as well.
Just remember, Doug Dillinger can no longer rent rental cars.
He can't rent a car
since he wasn't getting the insurance and they were trashing the. With WWE, someone we have not seen in a while, Elias. Everyone's wondering what the hell is popping off with Elias. The company reportedly had no real plans for those Elias teaser vignettes that aired back in the summer. They just shot the shit just to shoot it, basically. They ran multiple vignettes, if you remember. That aired back in August, I want to say.
Yes.
Where we saw Elias, and we talked about this in the last episode. It was like a scene out of Nickelodeon's Are You Afraid of the Dark?
He's killing Elias, digging graves,
killed off his
holes.
Original character, and so we're thinking, okay, this is a part of the repackaging.
No, they had no damn plans for the guy.
The last vignette that aired on August 23rd, that's the last we've seen of him. And an update word now is that WWE had no end plan for the vignettes. This is according to WrestleVotes. It also noted that WWE just filmed the vignettes to kill off Elias's musician gimmick. The musician gimmick, sorry.
Magician will probably be next for him.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You're a company like that. You can film them. That's great. Put them in the bank and all that. It's not going to hurt them. Why would you put that on Raw if there was no end game at all? Like I said, there's nothing wrong with filming the vignettes, having them, getting them ready. But when you put them on for multiple weeks and then people are wondering, oh, what's this guy going to do? And then the end game is, oh, we actually had no damn plan for him. We were just wasting time.
No idea whatsoever. I mean, it's like television, right? We have these big time production companies that shoot these pilots.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't realize how many pilots get shot for different shows and this and that and the other.
Then you go out to Vegas and you have to watch them and test them. I've been one of those.
I've been one of them, too.
Yeah,
I did it with the Bionic Woman down at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
That show literally lasted 3 episodes, 2 or 3 episodes on NBC. Yeah. They shoot so many pilots, and
yours was an NBC
very few of them
I
actually make the big major network. But anyways, with an update On Ronda Rousey's future in WWE, Stephanie McMahon, she was actually interviewed, a little brief interview with Adam's Apple at the March of Dimes event. She touched on what the future holds in terms of Rousey and even mentioned Gable Steveson. So got a little update in terms of that as well. Speaking of, we just talked about the NIL agreement earlier in the podcast. But as far as Ronda Rousey first and her potential return to WWE, McMahon is saying that there's an open invitation, always has been, for Ronda to come back whenever she feels like doing so. So they're not going to rush her. They understand what she wants to do personally. Outside of that, they've respected that. They understood that going into the deal when she signed it. And they're cool with it. And you know what? Of course you would be, because she's instant box office.
Yep. Yeah, and she's having the baby now. I mean, she's pregnant, and I think she's due soon if she hasn't had it already. So
I need an angle. I need a payoff. I need Rousey, and I need Lynch.
And the kids.
I need it.
And the kids get in the ring, throw down.
I need it.
Yes.
I need moms going back and forth on the promos.
Yes.
I want Lifetime Network shit.
Yes, that would be.
Oh,
when they come back, there's, obviously the way that finish was, it was weird at the main event. And I always thought, when Ronda comes back, she'll say, well, I had my shoulder up. I always never counted 1, 2, 3. And, she did. So,
they did it right. They left it open.
They left it open, so it's still there for when she comes back.
Stephanie knows all about the smoke from the arm bars and the maneuvers of Ronda Rousey. She said, quote, she's always welcome to come back as long as she stays away from me. So we will not be expecting Stephanie McMahon to jump back in the ring with Ronda anytime soon. In terms of Steveson, he got drafted to Raw 2 months ago, part of the draft. In terms of the timetable of his debut, Stephanie was asked about that. She said, quote, he's still in school. When he's done with school, hopefully he's going to be part of the full-time roster. So, again, the NIL agreement, they're looking to bring him in, get him trained real quick, and spit him out.
And Gable got his college, I should say, wrestling season going. I had a buddy go check him out over last weekend, it was, at the University of Minnesota, and he's still dominating on the mat. So, he's got that season goes now until basically, March, April. I don't know if he's got any more plans for training for Olympics. I think the NIL kind of kills that. So I think he had his Olympic experience. Of course, he won the gold medal. So wouldn't really see if he's going to go back to get into that training. So like you said, then like she said, here we go. He's going to be on the main roster. And with a talent like that, he has to be.
Yeah.
With everything that he had. And like we said, NBC owns the Olympic coverage. So you don't have to get that footage licensed out for anything, so that it works hand in hand.
Yeah. Former WWE superstar recently released Karrion Kross, or he's back to being Killer Kross now, heading to Hollywood. He's going to be continuing the pro wrestling career now that he's no longer with WWE. He's going to continue with that, but via Fightful Select, he's getting into the acting world as well. He's reportedly landed a lead role in an action movie that will begin filming in 2022. No word yet on the details of the film, but we'll definitely be looking after it now. He had previously appeared on the Before the Dark TV miniseries back in 2013 and 2014. He starred in 4 episodes as the Hemming character, so he's no stranger to acting. He's been a part of it before, but not really sure the budget of this movie, not really sure what it is, but he, someone thought enough of him to give him the lead role. So
you're getting it and see where it leads from there. It's probably a stepping stone role as is. The guy, I could see him as a pretty good, like a villain guy or something like that. Yeah, he could have a pretty good, career doing that, as is shown from other guys getting into the acting, getting the acting bug from wrestling.
Yeah. Feel-good story, unfortunately because of a tragedy, but Adam Scherr, the former Braun Strowman, he's going to be helping out Waukesha Parade victims with the Blizzard Brawl appearance. It's going to be both he and EC3.
Okay.
They're literally going to be putting their money where their mouths are. They're going to be making the appearance at the Blizzard Brawl. That's going to be taking place this weekend, I want to say, at the Waukesha County Expo Center. This is something, they've done this for years, I want to say.
Yes.
I went one year, and that's probably 6-7 years ago. They'll be in Wisconsin this weekend, and both Scherr and EC3, they're going to be donating all the proceeds generated from their meet and greet sessions donations and the merchandise sales to the United for Waukesha Community Fund in the wake of the Waukesha Christmas Parade tragedy. Strowman, or Sheer, he said, "I've been so blessed and fortunate in life with what I've been able to accomplish and have seen and done, and this is an opportunity to give back." He said this earlier this week. He also added, "There's no such thing as a self-made man or a self-made woman. Everyone has someone who gives them a hand along the way." And for people who are, I mean, it's no secret, he's got greater Milwaukee area ties. His dad's a legend in the Slinger area with softball, and he's constantly here in the state. He does usually in the winter, he jumps in a lake for Special Olympics. He's done that the last couple of years too, when he was active full-time all over the place with WWE. I know before, everything shut down, he was doing that. He would come back like on a Wednesday, jump in the lake and raise funds for Special Olympics. I mean, very charitable guy. And I mean, obviously with the situation, I mean, it's great that these guys are doing that. And it's a pretty good card too, from what I understand. Yeah. And what I did not know, not only is his father a legend in his own right in that area, but his aunt, I did not know that he has an aunt, Mary Shear, who had coached the Hartford High School gymnastics team and still is, I believe. But 33 years, his aunt has coached gymnastics. So not sure if Braun knows how to do a backflip or a somersault.
He can do somersault a little bit.
Not sure. He's got to have a little something.
He had to have something when that Wyatt compound match happened.
Yeah. With Monday Night Raw, let's go ahead. Let's run down. We're not going to sit here and go move for move and segment for segment. We're going to give you the highlights of this. This was all based around how we're going to build the day one event for WWE. And this is the January 1st pay-per-view. And this began Monday night, and it looks like we're going to see what we figured was going to happen the entire time. A triple threat, Big E defending the title against both Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. Not a surprise, right?
No, not a surprise.
Whether Owens was leaving or not, soon. I mean, this was...
I'm a little surprised at throwing him in the title picture, I guess, but maybe I shouldn't be because we've seen this before.
And he ain't winning.
He ain't winning. He don't have a chance. I guess... Big E and Rollins will continue the feud then at Rumble, and there we go.
Yeah, so Rollins, he had already cashed his spot. He had earned his shot by winning that four-way ladder match, and the way that we've built Owens in terms of the being the
shyster.
Yes, the guy that he's been his whole career, at least in WWE. It was obvious that they were going to throw him in there. This was at the UBS Arena in Belmont Park in Elmont, New York. We got how Owens earned the spot in the day one title match. Well, he defeated Finn Balor, who's been losing a lot lately, if you ask me. Beat him clean the ring after hitting a stomp. And I apologize, not Owens. Seth Rollins, he defeated Balor.
This is the match where I said to you this would not hurt Rollins if he took a pin.
No, and
because he's already in the championship match. He's got all that.
Instead, we beat Balor. And I feel like we didn't really do enough. We never really got a clean, full payoff of Rollins and Balor in an angle. Where you could tell that story about these were the two guys for the Universal title Balor had defeated. Rollins to become the first ever Universal champ, and he could have gotten, but we never did that. But anyways, Rollins, he hit him with the stomp, and then he used the thumb to the eye to set up the finish. Prior to the match, Rollins, he had made it official that he would be challenging Big E for the title at the day one event. And then after the match, Rollins ran into Owens backstage. Owens mentioned that he would also earn a spot at the day one title match as well if he had beat Big E later on in the night, which we got that match we'll touch on in a sec. Rollins then confronted Adam Pearce and was initially told that Owens was lying, but then Owens insisted that it was true, and then Pearce eventually said that it was a good idea. Owens had pretty much worked his magic on it and talked it into existence, and he said, well, what the hell? I'll just put him in there any damn ways. Owens, he ended up beating Big E via disqualification after some interference from Rollins in this match. Rollins, he came back down again ringside for the match. He was cheering on Big E to keep Owens from the spot in the match, right? It says he's smart. The more people in the match, the lesser my odds are of winning this thing. And it doesn't matter who gets pinned. The champ doesn't have to be pinned. So During the match, Rollins, he was trying to bait him in attacking to give Owens the DQ.
Yes.
And then as the match continued, he attacked Rollins for a second time. And then this time, Rollins rushed into the ring. He couldn't take it anymore. He attacked Owens to cause the DQ. And then Owens escaped the ring. So then Rollins put Big E down with the stop instead. And then Owens celebrated as the inclusion of the Day 1 title match was then announced. So, again, not much to complain about. It wasn't we knew this is where they were going, and I don't know, nothing much else I have to say about it.
No, I'm trying to figure this out. Now my brain is hurt. I like the creativity, but Rollins interfered, and he went after Owens.
He started off as the smartest guy.
Yes.
He didn't want Owens in it.
Yeah, but
then he
went
became
after
the dumbest mother effer.
Yeah.
By running into the ring and attacking the guy he didn't want in the match, causing the DQ in which Owens would win.
That's right. See, that's where I was trying to
sense.
figure out. It's like, yeah, it made no sense, but that's where we're at. And I guess this is one of the most creative things they've had maybe this year from that. Yeah. From creative, I'll take it, I guess.
Crybaby Liv Morgan.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
This
company has absolutely, between her and Tony Storm, it's like, do we know how to book a babyface in 2021?
No, we don't. We got to go back to 1960s, 70s story trends.
You can't get me to buy in that Liv Morgan is going to be a true challenger to Becky Lynch's title, and she's crying on camera.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it doesn't work for me.
They're trying to get sympathy, and it's not
you ain't
working.
getting it out of me.
No.
Anyways, why I bring up Crybaby Liv Morgan, it's nothing against her, but this is just how they've booked her. Her and Lynch signed the contract for a match for Lynch's Raw Women's Championship. It's not going to be at the Day 1. It's going to be on Raw next week. So we then ended up, because of this contract signed, the face-to-face these two had, we ended up getting a Survivor Series style. Yes, we just came out of Survivor Series. So on Monday Night Raw, why not? Let's give you a 5-on-5 match set up for later on in the night with Liv being the captain of one team and Lynch being the captain of the other.
Yeah, this was terrible booking. It took a long time, too, that match.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about the match. Liv Morgan, she was joined by Bianca Belair, Dana Brooke, Rhea Ripley, and Nikki Ash.
Do these people even wanted to be in this match?
Probably
because
not.
If you think about the title picture, Bianca wants the title.
If I'm Rhea Ripley,
like, why the hell
am I still with Nikki Ash?
Yes.
I don't want anything to do with this tag team. I don't even care about the tag team belts anymore.
I don't give a shit about Liv Morgan winning the title or not, or Becky. I want my damn shot.
Right. So we got Ripley and Ash on that team with Liv Morgan as well, joining Brooke and Belair. They ended up defeating the team of Becky Lynch, Tamina, Doudrop, Carmella, Zelina Vega, and this is by pinfall. Morgan, she hit Tamina with the Oblivion, and then after the match, all the competitors continued brawling before Morgan got the last word by hitting Lynch with the Oblivion. So there you go. That's how that match went down.
Got to give her something, I guess, before she eats the pin.
We got a Raw Tag Team Championship match. We got the champs, RK Bro. They defeated, again, what feels like the 50 millionth time, the Dirty Dogs team of Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. That was after Orton hit Ziggler with an RKO. We got Edge, who returned to Raw. He was immediately interrupted by The Miz.
Yeah.
And The Miz took offense to his own return not getting the same level of fanfare as Edge, as well as Edge not mentioning him as a potential future opponent. So they traded some verbal jabs, and then Edge finally had enough and tried to get Miz to fight him, leading Miz to simply refuse and leave the ring. Now, there were some insider terms and public terms that have been used lately in terms of how they've handled their talent with the future endeavored releases.
Yes. Yeah.
This got talked about in this promo.
And the cheap pop used on other programs with your name.
No, you do know that since that, the very next day, they edited that out of the show.
Of course they did. Of course they would do that.
So clearly, they gave the green light.
They gave the green light live, but
throw it out there. But then,
I mean, I'm trying to understand why that would make any deal or not. It's like the other program does it all the time to you. You may as well. It's your own bet anyways. You may as well put it in the promos, and they are. I will say it was nice to see Maurice back with Miz. I hope
It works.
I hope
it works
this is
much
a good
better
package
for him
because the last time they were together, it made the Miz a little more vindictive, more of a good heel.
Well, his wife is hot.
Yes.
And she's a natural heel.
Yes.
And she adds to what it is that he does.
Yeah.
They're great together. So, yeah, I mean, it was good to see her. We're not sure how long this is going to last, but I feel with her, the Miz instantly, slowly but surely gets back in the world title picture because he's one of the guys that actually has something about him on this roster, no matter how you feel about the Miz.
And he was a title. He won the title earlier this year. Yes, obviously he was a transitional champ, but it's on the record books.
We got action with the Street Profits defeating Alpha Academy.
Man, this is just a floundering area with these guys.
I feel that we've really done a disservice, this company, with Alpha Academy.
Yeah.
I thought these guys were going to for sure go on a big run, become champs. Not that it would mean anything really with those belts, but you book them strong. Otis, this was your Money in the Bank winner from 2020.
And we screwed him out of it. That's what you said. Yes. Well, that's why Miz won
it.
We
took his tag team partner, his former tag team partner, Tucker, away. We took his girlfriend away.
Yeah.
We took his Money in the Bank away.
Took his hair away.
Yeah, we took his facial hair away. Chad Gable, we had him in the finals of the King of Ring just a couple of years ago, and it looked like we were going to do something. Nope. And this was a guy who, again, he part of that amateur background, collegiate, Olympic. Was he?
Where was
the select team?
Select team he was on, yeah.
But still. So anyways, Montez Ford, he hit Gable with a frog splash. AJ Styles, and he was down there. He pretended to be blind after the Profits had sprayed him with the fire extinguisher from the week before. Yeah. He attempted to interfere at the end of the match, exposing the ruse while also not stopping the Profits from scoring the win. So,
just a whole lot of nothing with everyone involved in this right now.
Yeah, U.S. title defended. We had Apollo Crews. Now, we thought they were at least going to save this for a pay-per-view pre-show, but no, we'll give it to you for free on Raw. Damien Priest defeating Apollo Crews via pinfall.
And we got new entrants for Damien Priest.
For what? I don't like. Why? Why are we messing with this guy? This guy
giving him the devil and like a pastor kind of opening vignette.
Just can't help ourselves with it.
Well, it's Damien and it's a priest.
Yeah, just don't understand. God. Anyways, he hit Crews with the Reckoning. Commander Aziz, he attempted to interfere. That led to his ejection from ringside, and then the attempted interference, that caused Priest to snap once again.
To the Damien side.
Yes, and then he finished Crews off just moments later. We had the Mysterios defeating both Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin via pinfall when Dominic and he hit Benjamin with a frog splash. Why are members of the Hurt Business losing matches when we just put them back together?
They're getting a railroad.
And clearly we want to split Ray and Dominic eventually. Why would we? Didn't understand. Didn't do anything for me.
No, they should have. Yeah, it's not making a whole hell of a lot of sense with everything involved with that angle because, the Dom Ray split, that's got to be happening. And like you said, Hurt Business, you just ran to a big vignette about Bobby Lashley. I don't know why you needed to run a vignette about Bobby Lashley, but they did. And so you would think you'd want to make the rest of his team look strong, and no.
Why would we do that?
Why would we let him go before WrestleMania to be part of the package? Well,
All right, that was your Monday Night Raw review. WWE SmackDown, they were in San Antonio. This show was all built around, we got a return from last week's SmackDown. Sami Zayn, he ends up winning a Battle Royal. And then right as Caleb Braxton's about to interview Sami Zayn at the end of last week's SmackDown, it's announced that Brock Lesnar is going to be returning. And that's exactly what we got immediately to kick off SmackDown, not Roman Reigns for a change. Not that there was anything wrong with that, but when Brock Lesnar's back, we just knew this is what was going to happen. Brock, he makes his way down to the ring. He's solo, of course. He doesn't have his advocate, who Reigns has access to right now. We get Lesnar in the ring. He immediately goes for the mic, and he came out and just oozed of babyface. The crowd enjoyed seeing Brock.
And it looked like he returned the favor a little bit.
He returned the favor.
Out.
He's coming out. He's smiling and he's got the shit-eating grin, but it's the babyface shit-eating grin. And, the thing about him is that it takes for him to go away and stay gone for a while and for the product to get to the absolute deepest of shits for him to come back without having to really do any babyface shit, and the crowd is just, they just know instantly if he comes back for the most part, especially with no Heyman.
Yeah.
Because we've used Heyman to establish Reigns as the true heel of this company.
Yeah.
That immediately gets the babyface reaction from the crowd.
Yeah, he could be an Austin babyface where the rules don't apply to him, and he can rip shit up and just continue to dominate. And I was wondering how it would happen without, the whole Heyman thing there. And I think he's going to pull it off just fine if he continues on the path he's going here.
Yeah. So as soon as he's getting ready to really get into the promo, Sami Zayn's music, it hits immediately. Mm-hmm. Sami comes down. He's got a mic already in hand, so he's talking as he's coming down to the ring. And he talks about how, well, besides the UFC titles and the WrestleMania main events, they're very similar.
Yes, yeah.
They're both Canadian alpha men. And he went on a list of things. And this is where I figured, okay, we know during this show, Brock is going to beat the shit out of Sami Zayn.
Yes.
Could be now, could be later. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen. So I figured that he would clobber him immediately just based off the discrepancy because Brock Lesnar is originally born and raised in the Dakotas.
South Dakota, yeah.
Went to school at Minnesota. Mm-hmm. American. True to it. And so I'm thinking Lesnar's going to say, well, that's where you're wrong. I live in Saskatchewan, but I'm American. I'm not Canadian. No, he said, well, yeah, you're right. I live in Saskatchewan, and yes, I am Canadian. And I'm like, was that like a semi-psycho Sid or Sid Vicious type of was that written in, or was that Brock just kind of going out just saying, I'm Canadian? Is he an official citizen of the country that we know of?
He's probably lived there long enough. He probably is.
Has he established residency there long enough, you think?
I think he has.
Okay, well, all right. Well,
he's been on the farm up there for a while, so yeah.
He is Canadian. But anyways, this was a good segment, and I know you were having audio issues, so you couldn't really hear, but this was a good segment. It was mainly Lesnar basically telling Zayn, hey, why not? Let's just have the match tonight, you and Reigns, for the title. And Brock's really having some fun with this. Sami's trying to get out of it. Sami's trying to find any excuse to get out of it. Mm-hmm. And with a little Brock Lesnar type applied pressure, Sami went ahead and agreed to it and said that he was going to be down there by his side and was going to support him in any way that he could so he could defeat Roman Reigns. So Sami's not at ease with this.
Yeah.
He goes to the back. We end up catching up with them a little later on. We'll jump on that. Actually, we could jump on it now. We'll basically go from the highs all the way down to the lowest of shit for this show. But this was for the official. This was for day one, for the January 1st show. And so we ended up getting a segment backstage of Sami Zayn trying to talk himself out of this match against Reigns. He goes to Sonya Deville, and he doesn't know, but Brock Lesnar is standing right behind him, and he changes his tune.
Yeah.
And he still says, all right, fine, I'm with it. And Lesnar's like, all right, go out there and get him and this and that. So we've got that. This was a show, and I told you, I said, if we're going to build this show around Lesnar and Sami Zayn, I'm all for it because they actually worked very well together. It was nice to kind of see Lesnar show the personality. Reminded me of the kind of like the shit with him and Angle back in the day.
Yeah, yes.
And, Sami, he's a goofball anyway. So we ended up getting the match at the end of the show. It was going to be Sami Zayn going at it with Reigns for the Universal Championship. Before the match, Zayn ends up cutting a promo in the ring, saying that he never wanted the biggest match of his career to come in Texas. his least favorite state. Lesnar then came out to watch the match. Zayn suggested that Lesnar help him win because Lesnar had not had much success against Reigns. Apparently, Zayn has not watched the WrestleManias and other matches of Suplex City.
Yes.
Of babyface Reigns all over the fucking ring.
No, he hasn't.
He has not seen those matches, apparently. Well, Lesnar didn't take very well to that. He ended up hitting Zayn with a series of German suplexes and hit him with an F5 as well, followed by another after the fans chanted for him to do it one more time. And then Lesnar then propped Zayn in the corner, and then he walked off, and that's when the tribal chief ended up making his entrance down to the ring. The Usos proceeded to pick up a unconscious at the time Zayn, stood him up, put him in the corner, and fed him to Reigns, who then hit the spear, locked in the guillotine choke to get the quick win.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it wasn't bad for
clearly
what
Zayn was not getting the title shot at the pay-per-view.
But to tell the story and, prolong it another week or, just get something going. And like you said, it was a good chemistry between Brock and Zayn in it. And
what you did more than anything is that you just filled time. You admit that the Battle Royal was a waste of time. It was a time filler.
Yeah.
It did nothing.
You needed something to stop gap. And I wasn't believe you're going to throw Roman Reigns on there for yet another 15, 20-minute match. He's been on quite a few, and I'm sure Fox has said, we want to feature the champ. We want him, big guy, but he can't have him on TV all the time.
And even with Zayn on his way out, I thought that this he and Lesnar, I thought, worked very well together. They had some fun chemistry. I liked it. Mm-hmm. And, Zayn's character has kind of been about this conspiracy of the company holding him back. So I think that also furthers and boosts that character as well.
Yeah.
We had a match of Sasha Banks versus Shayna Baszler. Now, during Banks, she makes her entrance first.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, why is Banks making her entrance first before Baszler for this match? And then Baszler made her entrance, and they told you immediately why, because they had put together a Bobby Lashley type unnecessary vignette to reintroduce you to Shayna Baszler and who she is. They showed Baszler in the clip only doing damage to two people.
Yes.
Two people that are no longer with the company, Nia Jax and Eva Marie.
That's the first thing I saw right away when I saw those package. I'm like, oh, she's not there. Oh, she's not there either.
The company was clearly trolling.
Yes, they were.
They were trolling, and then when they came back out of the vignette, Pat McAfee, on commentary, said Shayna Baszler with the Future Endeavor kick. So they clearly don't give a fuck right now.
No, that'll probably be edited tomorrow on Hulu. So if my kid's looking to watch the replay tomorrow, that'll probably be out of there.
Banks, after all that, the vignette, Banks ended up.
I'm trying to.
Banks ended up. Oh, go ahead.
Well, with the whole vignette thing, we knew Baszler was an ass kicker this whole time.
Right, we don't need it.
When did they just discover, oh, yeah, she
we've seen her for
UFC,
what now, 3 years? Didn't we kick her off where she was biting the neck of Becky Lynch and bleeding?
Yeah, they forced her to do the vampire gimmick, and that kind of screwed her over. So for them to just rediscover that she's a badass, well, congrats, I guess. Maybe that's better for her now.
Well, it didn't matter because she ended up losing to Banks in this match with the almighty roll-up.
And where is
and now,
Shotzi? Sorry, I was thinking of that too. I'm just like, they had something there with. They could have continued that program, and now I'm like, well, I haven't seen her.
Now, how they did this roll-up was Baszler had Banks. She had her locked in the Kirifuda clutch, and then Banks was able to escape, counter it into a Banks statement, and then we got the quick roll-up.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre, sword and all.
By the way, the fantastic tweet you put out on the account, that was...
with the
guy at the gym with the sword. That was exactly what I thought of when I saw that on TV last week.
Yeah, we had Happy Corbin and Matt Cat Moss come out.
Yes.
They were supposed to be hosting an episode of Happy Talk. They took some shots at both McIntyre and Hardy, and then McIntyre made his way to the ring. And Hardy then struck from behind. So we basically had McIntyre and Hardy attacking those two guys. We had the team of Garza and his cousin, Humberto. They defeated the Viking Raiders via pinfall, who are now doing some bushwhacker shit. They're walking down to the ring, pounding the chest.
If they start licking kids in the next couple weeks, we know where they got it from.
Well, I immediately start thinking, too, like, as they're, like, pounding their chest as they're walking down to the ring, I'm thinking, man, hopefully they don't hit themselves too hard. It might get a Kona Crush heart punch. Yeah.
Think the company signs John Nord coming up, too, for some berserker shit with them coming up? I mean, they may as well. They go hand in hand.
John probably needs the money. He's been on all these court shows. Judge Judy and Mathis. And
those collectibles he has are not appreciating too well.
Los Lotharios, they end up winning.
Something.
Well, they won the match. Yeah. They won via pinfall. Humberto, he was able to pin Eric with a roll-up. Now, this is due to distraction from the outside. We had Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura come in the ringside to try and distract Los Lotharios. It backfired. Boogs was playing the guitar, and that set up Carrillo to get the pin. Boogs then, as an apology, played the Raiders theme song on the guitar, in which everyone got into it. McAfee as well on the table dancing because he is the biggest Rick Boogs Nakamura mark on this show.
Yes.
So that was used to ease the tension. We had Jey Uso in action. He defeated Xavier Woods via DQ after interference by the returning Kofi Kingston. Mm-hmm. Woods then announced that Kingston was back before the match, and didn't take long before Kingston couldn't wait any longer. He's trying to get his revenge on the Usos. Took out Jay before Kingston, and Woods also ran off Jimmy. So, these teams, they've worked well together for years, and I don't think it's the most insulting thing on the show. I don't think anyone, people are always glad to see the New Day and the Usos are a part of a big storyline with the cousin. And so.
And I like during the match, too, the chirping, trash talking, from side to side. I'm like, okay, this is why we like these two going back at it and forth, and because it kind of has.
They'll never top the rap battle.
No, they won't. But it's got some realism to it. I mean, that's the thing.
Yes. We got this again. Does WWE know how to book a babyface in 2021?
No.
Can they get you to take a babyface credible and serious going after a heel? We got a segment. Now, last week, I'm just so irritated by how bad they made Toni Storm look. Getting hit in the face twice, not once, but twice by Charlotte with a pie, and just stand there and just look like a sad little puppy doll.
Yes.
And did nothing as Charlotte walked off, licking her fingers up the pie. Well,
when did we take her eye black off, too? I noticed that.
Several weeks ago.
That's right. Several weeks ago we did. That's when we stripped her all down. Okay.
Yeah. So the best way that the company decided that we could get Toni Storm her comeuppance is just do the same in return and hit Charlotte in the face with a pie.
Yeah.
Earlier in the show, Storm, she had made it clear that she wanted a shot at Flair's SmackDown Women's Championship. Flair came to the ring to cut the promo and refused Storm's challenge, said she barely even knew who the fuck she was. That's a great way to bury your talent.
Yeah,
it's always a great way to bury your talent because Brock had actually did it earlier in the show to Sami Zayn.
Yes, that's right. He did.
Storm then ran out, hit Flair with the pie, and there you go. End scene.
That's all you need to know.
We already know how that match is going to end.
Unfortunately,
doesn't matter.
Yep.
We had Sheamus and Cesaro, the former team of the Bar. They went at it one-on-one
for the 8th millionth time,
and Sheamus won clean with the Brogue Kick.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
I don't know about you. I'm happy to see Sheamus again. And I will say this about Sheamus. It takes for you to watch a lot of, and even a lot of fans too that watch the product, they appreciate Sheamus more. They go and they watch his matches and they see how he works now, and they're like, he can actually work.
Well, yeah.
And I think that has been something cool to see fans acknowledge over the year more and more is like, when you're seeing the current product and how they're training certain people and how certain people work. And then you get Sheamus that comes back who really knows what he's doing and doesn't get talked about enough about how good he is in the ring for a guy his size. That's it's refreshing.
What was the match with Priest when he showed the chops he got on his chest? I mean, really, they both lay it in, and that's what he does in these matches, and he can work, like you said. But
you got to remember, who do he hang around with the most coming up? Triple H.
Triple H, yeah, that's right.
So, you know, I'm sure he's learned a lot of that from Triple H. Yeah. We got Sonya Deville slapping the shit out of Naomi when Naomi confronted her backstage. Naomi then challenged Deville to a match, and Deville said yes, but not before a slap and the threat that Naomi couldn't touch her since she's in the role of being an official. So
okay. So we're still prolonging the comeback here.
We are. So there you go. That's WWE SmackDown. Your thoughts on the show?
Better than usual. It's looking.
They were
good.
on a decline there for a little bit.
They were on a decline.
Yeah.
But now the women's division is shit, unfortunately, for SmackDown. But, you know, with Brock coming back now, this might be the only Brock appearance you have. Because, you know, there's other things going on. I mean, if Canada shuts down their borders, they could be fucked on day one with Omicron. That just popped in my head. I'm like, what happens if they say he can't travel back and forth? What the hell are you going to do for day one?
Yeah.
So there could be some things up in the air there. But for this show, pretty good for what they have for coming into it.
On to AEW news and tidbits with that company. Well, the time has come to know what was going to happen. We knew there were certain people, their contracts are going to be coming up, and this is the time where we've infused a lot of talent over the last 6 months onto this roster, regardless of where they got it from. They are in a better place talent-wise than where they were around this time last year.
Yeah.
So that means that certain contracts probably won't be picked up. Well, who signed? Several top AEW stars have resigned, reportedly, with the company. One being the Young Bucks, who are said to have recently signed brand new AEW contracts. That will put them under contract with the company until 2024. Now, this was noted by the Wrestling Observer newsletter that the Bucks originally signed 3-year deals that began on January 1st of 2019. Those deals included options for 2 more years, and if AEW President Tony Khan wanted to re-sign them, and he did, the option for 2 years included a raise for each year. So not a bad setup for the Bucks.
No, and they
still
are get that VP
part of the
stuff.
founding forefathers of the company, so that's fine. Now, word is that Jericho, Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, Brandy Rhodes, and the AEW World Champion Hangman Adam Page would also fall into that category as well, with the Young Bucks with similar type deals, since they were the original group of talents that started the company with the 3-year contracts, which all included the option years that Khan had the option to pick up. So in terms of there's no confirmation right now with all the AEW originals having their contracts renewed, but it was confirmed that many of them, for the most part, have. So, but we know one person that will not be back, and this is probably going to be a trickle-down effect, but Big Swole, who is currently married to WWE talent Cedric Alexander, she made her AEW in-ring debut at the All Out pay-per-view event back in August of 2019. She was a part of the Casino Battle Royal. She signed with the promotion not long after in December of 2019. She ended up going to Twitter a little while back. She announced it due to what she had gone through, and she was having the roughest months because we didn't see her on TV there for a while. I know that she does deal with I don't remember if it was lupus or something of that nature, but she was off television. But she said she realized what she's got to do personally. She was able to speak to Tony Khan, and they, according to her, they mutually agreed to not renew her contract with the company. So she went on Twitter. She talked about this. This is according to Fightful Select. Her contract with AEW had actually expired at the end of November, and there was no truth in it ending rather prematurely, just like some people may have speculated. It was added there. No such situation, as Swole was having some backstage heat. So she said that it was mutual.
Okay.
Fightful Select is reporting there were issues backstage, and so it seems that maybe mutual in terms she's not happy with her place on the card. Probably sick of being on Dark.
That's the problem. They're going to have a lot of this talent.
Absolutely, and Khan saying, "Hey, this is what we got going on right now. This is where we are with the division." So, and she is, I gotta say, the package. I'm not the biggest fan of Big Swole in the ring. I still think there's a little bit more that could be worked on. I see a lot of her matches where there's some type of flub ups here and there. I do think she has a great look. I do think that compared to some of the other talent in that division that I see in that company, she's got definitely something to offer. But it was nowhere to go after the match with Britt Baker.
Yeah. They shot her up to the title picture quick, like too quick. I thought she could have, developed a little bit more and all that, but they shot her up to that title shot. Was the tooth and nail match, was that for the championship? I can't remember.
It was not.
It was not. That one was not. But I know they rushed her up there, and it was like, after all that stuff. So, I guess we'll see. Obviously, with WWE, I don't think that's going to be happening down the road with her. So we'll see where she pops up next. But like we said, though, this is going to be a familiar story coming up here for a lot of the talent that signed their 3 years. And the people that we've seen on some of these, like the Dark and Elevations, are like, what are they doing there? And they're not wrestling in an enhancement mode, or he's not giving them an enhancement. You're an enhancement talent.
And it was Crohn's disease actually that she said.
Well,
that's what
big.
She took some time off from was the Crohn's disease, and she had not had a AEW match since September 21st on Dark.
Yeah,
she beat Allie Catch in singles action.
A what? Allie Catch.
Allie Catch,
not Allie the rabbit.
No,
or the bunny. I mean,
the blade and the butcher
and the bunny.
Ooh. It's the bunny. Have we seen these guys before? No.
One of the all-timers there.
Oh, boy, let's stay in the laughing mood as people in WWE are reportedly in denial about AEW ticket sales. Some even believing that Tony Khan is buying his own tickets.
He might be.
The final count for tickets that were distributed for earlier this week's Monday Night Raw on Long Island, it was about 5,887. That was according to WrestleTix. WrestleTix had also posted photos showing sections with empty seats. That number for Raw, pretty acceptable for some of the smaller markets, but not for New York City. Look, they did Brutal in Brooklyn, too.
Yes.
The night after the Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm.
It was brutal. I want to say, what did they do, about 7? Maybe 8?
Maybe. Yeah.
It wasn't on and popping for them either. I mean, it's anyways, we know what this is all about. This is all about AEW with the New York event at Arthur Ashe Stadium.
It's all about Dave fucking Meltzer.
That's their backyard, and
this is his pissing match article of, well, who's selling out the building better or not. I don't know.
WrestleTix, they're reporting that the latest count for tickets that was distributed for the AEW Dynamite at the same arena, it's at about 8,658 tickets. Apparently, this has got some people at WWE in denial by AEW's strong ticket sales, and some of the company believing, as I mentioned before, that Tony Khan must be buying tickets to shows to inflate the numbers. Brian Alvarez stated the following on the Wrestling Observer board that, quote, "You will be surely stunned to learn that there are a few people in WWE who believe Tony must be buying up tickets to the AEW show." Now, they didn't have any issues with the Arthur Ashe. I mean, I'm sorry. I think they legit sold out Arthur Ashe Stadium. They are the new kid on the block.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of the company and New York and Stanford can't understand or can't, they're delusional or in denial more in the fact they've lost. Remember we talked about this, 2014, 2015. They were averaging about $3 million for Raw.
Yeah.
That audience has lost, give or take, 1.5 million to 2 million people since.
Yes.
I'm sure a good portion of AEW's diehards have come from that crew of fans.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
Anti-WWE, you're getting it at a cheaper price point.
Well, that's the big thing.
And you get to say, hey, they're an outdoor stadium, Arthur Ashe, WWE's never been there.
Yeah.
It's a smaller, more intimate. We're not in an arena, big Madison Square Garden. We're not. So Arthur Ashe Stadium, it kind of seemed like no matter where you sat, you had pretty solid view of the ring, of the action. You know?
Yeah.
I think
that's the other thing, though, with this report is the price points. You brought it up. It is cheaper to watch AEW right now because they're offering the tickets at a more friendlier cost to the consumer than what WWE is. WWE has their different prices all over until you get way up high.
And let's keep it real. If you look at the rosters side by side, they have more people right now that you'd rather see over what's on the WWE roster.
Yeah. They have the stars. They have the Punk, they have the Bryan,
honestly,
they have the Cole.
There aren't too many on the AEW roster I could look at and feel staled out from.
No.
Right now.
Yeah.
There are a few, but not compared to WWE.
Yeah. So, I mean, with all that, I could see where they're actually, they are selling the tickets because all of those factors thrown into one. So, they love New York so much, WWE, that, they did all right in the Garden or whatever when they first came back. But that's the thing, people are going to start, and we're seeing the effects of it in other venues too, like concerts and everything else, is the initial wear off of, well, we didn't have anywhere to go for a year. Let's just buy tickets. Where now it's like, well, let's pump the brakes a little bit on this too. The consumer is starting to say, okay, there's a lot of things going on too. I mean, I don't know what fees are attached, but I can tell you a certain performer of music was charging up to $50 a ticket for fees. So you buy 2 tickets, it's $100 in fees going on. So I don't know if that's hit the wrestling market yet or not. But again, too, AEW, if it's a friendlier, more deal, that's why they're selling out more. Yeah. No doubt about it.
There is an AEW talent making another change to the gimmick. It looks like Matt Hardy is going to be making some tweaks to his character. Now, when he debuted last year, this was during the empty arena, the COVID era of AEW. We had kind of like pretty much the broken character going on there. Didn't play as well. And I think the broken gimmick didn't really get over because they were running empty arena shows.
Yeah.
The crowd is what got that thing over.
Yes.
He then transitioned into the big money Matt gimmick that he portrayed during his days in Impact Wrestling, but it looks like, that was flat because the crew that he had, they all came across as losers.
Yes. They still were.
He had legitimate-looking tag teams that I actually didn't mind. He had Private Party. He had the Blade and the Butcher. Look, the Blade and the Butcher, you get away from Excalibur's fucking fluff of intro for these guys actually look badass.
They do.
They look like badass dudes.
But the problem is he had a tag team stable.
Yes.
And then he had that stupid match with Paige about first quarter earnings. And it's like,
no one got over in that group.
No.
He was the one that was getting the marquee matches.
Yes.
The big money matches.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Hardy family office leader stated on Twitter they wants to be more authentic because it's what AEW fans want. So this was in response to a fan who had asked if we have seen the end of the big money Matt character. He said the following on Twitter. He said, I plan on gearing more towards Matt Hardy going forward. It seems the AEW audience appreciates real, so I'll focus on just being more authentic. So,
okay.
I will say this. I think that Matt Hardy does serve a purpose in AEW. I think that he's got enough years of experience in the building, and he comes from an era where he and his brother helped usher in a working style that kids who grew up watching it aspired to be.
Well, most of their talent is emulating that.
Absolutely.
On the roster right now, yeah.
I think he definitely serves a purpose. I think if they allowed him to, and I don't know who really legitimately has the voice in the back. If you watch the reality show, you would think Cody Rhodes is the voice of reason for everyone. But they've got plenty of veterans back there who've been in the business a long time, former managers, former talent guys in the ring, and this, that, and the other. I don't need to see Matt Hardy in matches.
No. I think his role is, he could do a couple things here on screen, but the bigger role would be behind the scenes. It would be producer, creative, obviously very creative mind, or, just behind, helping, mentoring. I think that's the role he's kind of got one foot in and one foot out.
And
he's
always said that he's only talked about he has no problem helping the younger talent. He's not interested in winning matches or winning titles anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when a guy says that, he's legitimately saying, I do want to help the younger generation and pay it forward. Then why are we getting a guy on TV 3 times? And I mean, there was one fucking Dynamite episode just a couple of weeks ago. We saw him 3 times that night.
Well, like you said, we don't know who's making these calls back. Well, we know one person. Whoever's making that, maybe this is his way of saying, yeah, we got to pump the brakes on this. A little too much me, and we're not getting anyone over in this. Yeah.
There were some visitors. T-Pain was not the only notable person at AEW Dynamite this past week. We'll get on that in a little bit. There were several visitors backstage at the Dynamite at the Gas South Arena in Duluth, Georgia. There was ROH World Tag Team Champ Matt Taven, who was a part of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
He was backstage at the show. Matt Taven's always been a guy. I've always wondered why the bigger companies, bigger than ROH, have not taken a look at him. I think he's got something to offer. Jonathan Gresham, another one of ROH's top stars. He was also seen backstage. That was according to PW Insider. Former WCW Glacier, Ray Lloyd, who was apparently very close with Cody Rhodes and some others. He was also spotted backstage visiting since he lives down the area. And as I mentioned before, Grammy Award-winning T-Pain was also in attendance as he handed Cody Rhodes a chair in a very corny fucking match that I had no fun with whatsoever. The Atlanta Street fight between Rhodes and Andrade. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But anyways, the main thing, some ROH. We got ROH faces showing up. So we know that the Jay Lethal signing, that's not going to be the end of few.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a lot, but the few former ROH talents that we're going to see appear in AEW. So,
of course, we're waiting for that big tag team. We don't know if the Briscoes are going to be there or not. There's obviously a lot of, dream matches or, matches again. They did work with the Bucks, I believe, when they did that ROH stint. So, I mean, that's not, they haven't worked before, but will they come in or not? And again, those are kind of the big names. I mean, the 3 big names, Taven, like you said, too. Taven, they already have Jay Lethal, Briscoes, and like I keep saying, Danhausen, he goofy as shit. I saw somebody behind tonight, McAfee with Danhausen face paint on, and that camera zoomed off that guy real quick.
Because they are very aware of who.
So they are aware of who he is, and obviously he's dealing with the injury right now, but we will see how many of those guys end up in AEW. I got to say, it's more likely than not that's where they're going.
Yeah, last leg of the podcast, the Bush League Mud Show, Slade PJ. AEW Dynamite. They had advertised CM Punk versus Lee Moriarty. Darby Allin and Sting taking on the Gun Club. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's jump into this thing. We'll jump into it in and out. We kicked off a Bryan Danielson-Alan Angels match. Bryan Danielson running up the ringer when it comes to the Dark Order before he has his inevitable match with Hangman Page. Danielson really turned up the heel status in this match. Very dominant assault on Angels, who was only given a couple of spots in this match. Danielson then paid homage to Nate Diaz by flexing during a submission. He did that. He did this last time. He used the knee bar finish, but the finish was called too early. So the storyline pretty much lucked out. So many Dark Order members able to wrestle in their hometowns. That's the theme of this, right?
Yes, it is.
They're going. They're finding whatever they can. There's a theme to this. Before he gets to Hangman Page, he's going to kick everyone's teeth down their throats or kick their heads off and take them out one by one.
In their hometowns and they humiliate them. There's one next week, too. I think Silvers or the smaller guy.
I will say this. I will say it's slightly goofy because of who's involved, the Dark Order, but at least it's some type of long-term storytelling the company is telling you.
Well, it's not too long because the championship match is in 2 weeks.
Well,
that's when I saw that they promoted that for the winter is coming. It's going to be Danielson and Hangman in 2 weeks in Dallas. I'm like, damn it, because if they could have had this spread out till January or. Well, I know the next pay-per-view for them is not until February usually, but it's like, I was with you. I'm like, they could have done that, but then in 2 weeks, we're going to have that championship match.
Yeah. We got our Punk versus Lee match. MJF, he came down, said that the CM and CM Punk stood for cooking meth.
That was a good line. I started laughing when I heard that.
I thought maybe he probably should have used that line last week as well. I thought it was a wash. I thought they both canceled each other. I thought they were both fine the week before.
Yes.
We got a little bit into the CM Punk match. MJF, had already decided the CM Punk hasn't lived up to the hype. And he talked about how a lot of social media discourse. He talked about that on commentary when it comes to Punk.
He was always mentioning too. He shouldn't be hanging with this match should be done. He shouldn't be having a 15-minute match with this guy.
Basically, MJF is describing exactly how we feel watching at home.
Yes.
So they are very aware of this. Yeah. They are aware of what. Yes. Yeah. They know what we're thinking. They know what we're complaining about. We got a wash match: Wardlow versus AC Adams. There was nothing but power bomb after power bomb after power bomb and another powerbomb to end this match. And then at the end of the match, we've got the chairman, Shawn Spears, coming in the ring to whack an already brutalized AC Adams over the back in the ring repeatedly with a chair.
Because we got to take a little shine off of Wardlow. We got to have something for Spears.
It didn't make sense to me.
No. Make Wardlow look strong. Give him the win. Make, obviously, dominant. We haven't seen Wardlow in a couple weeks. That's what he should be doing right now. Just building up momentum, being the big monster.
Now I got to say, as this match was going on, we had Adam Cole appearing on commentary.
Third straight match where somebody was on commentary.
Yes.
That was a running theme.
Predictably, being that Shivani was there too, he went after Shivani. And this is clearly they're going to shoot this off into a feud of some point, right?
How?
I don't know.
How the hell? The
Shivani's son going to get back into the ring?
No, we heard a report he's done with that.
Yes, he's done after getting his ass worked by QT Marshall.
And Shivani, I guess, is happy about that.
Very happy about it because his son's fucking 35.
Yes.
And he ain't DDP.
No. Yeah, so, I mean, they're shooting themselves in the corner with this one. It's like, okay, well, McAfee's not coming from the other channel to stick up for the commentator and wrestle Cole again, so I don't know where they're going with that.
Clearly, we're going to get a CM Punk Wardlow match before we get a CM Punk MJF match. And at least AEW, as they should, they're showcasing Wardlow as the dominant monster. But like you said, having Spears coming into the ring,
that made no sense.
It didn't do, and it kind of seems as if that these Wardlow power bombs, it's kind of like, would you say that that's their guy in terms like when I think the the Brock Lesnar suplexes. Like that's Wardlow's thing.
Mm-hmm.
The power bomb.
Well,
and I don't see anyone. Knock on wood. I don't see anyone really ever doing power bombs in this. Yeah.
I mean that's the thing. Yeah, with that roster, he's the guy that can do it and maybe do the damage. I mean, he's got a little Goldberg to him. Now they screwed that up for a streak or whatever with the whole swagger shit and everything else, but. He does kind of have a Goldberg feel to him where he could be an ass kicker like that, but they do shit like this, and it's like, why? Just let the guy be on his own. It's been, what now, 2-3 years?
About 2 years.
Now, remember we said, well, he's got to develop and all this stuff. Now it's time to push him. You got to do something with him, or else he can't be a bodyguard for the whole damn time.
No. A match that I just was never interested in seeing. We had Darby Allin and Sting defeating the Gun Club. Allin and Sting, they wore matching face paint, so this looks like the
Gun
Big
Club
Brothers
was wearing it with the first lockup. Yeah. They had it all over their body.
Yeah. Few people were. I mean, this is, Shivani was all over him. I mean, fucking Sting in the ring. Shivani's got a, I guess that's his. It's kind of like
catchphrase,
kind of like Michael Cole when it comes to Sasha Banks.
Yeah, that too.
It's boss time. I mean, it's just really fucking over the top.
Yeah.
For a brief 2.5 seconds, it seemed like Colton Gunn was gonna get a pinfall victory over Sting. There was some outside interference. We got Lio Rush and Team Taz. Faced off after the match.
With an angle, why do we even care?
It seemed like a fucking... And I know Lio Rush can talk.
Yes.
Taz can talk.
Yes.
It came across as a fucking scripted WWE promo.
It was.
And it took forever. There was just... I mean,
and we're fighting over Dante Martin, who should be a babyface. But you guys are... Once again, you have a good babyface story, a guy that's proven to love the crowd, and you turn him heel. Just like they did with Powerhouse Hobbs last year. And I will still never forget that promo 2 weeks ago. Well, look where Powerhouse Hobbs is. It's been a whole year. Yeah,
and
he's been
one shit of any significance.
One shit at all. So, yeah.
I ask this every time I see him. And I know you're probably sick and tired of me asking this.
Yes.
What happened to Lio Rush retiring?
Hey, now. He's all right. Remember, he's a hedge fund manager, too, but now he's not.
Well, they got rid of that.
Yeah, we got rid of that.
They got rid of that after 2 weeks.
Got rid of that after 2 weeks, the whole retirement thing. Grandma's okay. I don't know if Grandma's okay or not, but I remember we were mentioning that in the storyline, too, and that's why they underhandedly took Dante Martin in, so who knows what happened with that. Maybe Lio Rush's gimmick is to have a different gimmick every week. Maybe that's the gimmick.
I would actually be cool with that.
Maybe that's the gimmick.
At least let me know that's what it is.
I think that's what it is. Now he's a man without a man because Dante's gone. So next week we'll find out what happens.
Ruby Soho versus Chris Statlander. She actually defeated Chris Statlander in the TBS tournament quarterfinals. This is the 8th match of the fucking tournament.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And think about it. The Queen's Crown tournament of WWE, that lasted 7 matches.
Yeah.
Total time was probably, you could have watched an entire tournament move for move within the hour because every match was like fucking 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes.
Didn't they give the final like 2 minutes, if I remember?
For the Queen's Crown?
Yeah. I mean, they kind of zipped through that when they got to the end there.
Fans seem to be more behind Statlander in this match.
Yeah, they were.
I thought, at least when I was listening to the audio, I shut it off a few times. A little distracted, but when I did turn it on, it seemed like Statlander was more of the favorite to go over in this match.
Yeah.
I mean, it was what it was. It was a match. We got Ruby Soho to advance. The last thing I need to see, though, I don't know if I want to see Soho get too deep into this just to fall short when she's already lost to Britt Baker once. Yeah. And then we have her lose in this tournament, not win the TBS. Yeah. So
I mean, this whole thing was designed for me from Jade Cargill's got to win this thing. That's how I'm looking at it. You've pushed you've developed her. You pushed her as a big star, as the badass, giving her the the baddest bitch around, or that bitch show TV. I mean, she's already got the trademark for the belt. It's got to be Jade Cargill. I think this should have been designed for anyways, and they're starting to make her look strong in it. So, anyone else, but like you said, Soho, I don't want her to go there. Unfortunately, too, I don't know. Thunder Rosa, I believe that's her next opponent. Or are we even to the finals of this damn thing yet? No, we're not.
That was the quarterfinals match.
So, yeah. So, I mean, that's where we're looking at now, and we'll find out.
Yeah. The part that I know PJ was waiting for, he has to wait no longer, because I know he wants to rip the shit out of this match. I just thought it was fucking corny. Mm-hmm. We had Cody Rhodes defeating Andrade in an Atlanta street fight. We just had a Minneapolis street fight.
We had a street fight every other week. Yeah.
Cody Rhodes in this match came down, received the true John Cena reaction in his own hometown, loud and right down the fucking middle. You heard crickets.
It was dead. It was dead. Who said he had the bullshit in there?
Well, I watched a few videos on Twitter, at least shot from some people's phones.
Okay, because from the audio from what they were feeding through, no, it was not.
At one point, there appeared to be feathers stuck in Cody's back.
They're not feathers.
There were Cody chants throughout the match in addition to the fucking boos. And then there were some chants of "This is awesome."
Mm-hmm. This was shit.
No, he came out with his wife too.
No,
and,
she didn't. No,
let me take it back. He came out with Arn. This is what I'm getting too ahead of myself.
Yes.
He came out with Arn.
Obviously, Arn wasn't packing.
No, he didn't have.
He wasn't packing heat.
Andrade and his sidekick to.
But it was a street fight. Why wasn't Arn packing?
Yes.
If it's a real street fight.
With Andrade and his sidekick, they immediately try to go after the guys on the ramp. Arn Anderson ducks the slowest clothesline attempt I've ever seen, and then he falls off the ramp.
Fucking
Cody and Andrade, they're going at it.
Right when that happened, you know this match is going to shit.
Andrade did a pretty good job turning fans against him.
Yeah.
By refusing to give them a table when they asked for one.
Well, now again, Andrade on the entrance had like a 12-inch blade, which is probably illegal in 18 states.
Yes, that's right. He came out with a blade.
Yes. So that's what I'm wondering. Arn, where's the Glock?
Right.
He's got a knife.
Right.
That's what kind of street fight
Maybe
we're going
he found out that Arn wasn't packing, and he brought the knife to a gunfight. Remember, that's the whole thing. You never bring a gun to a knife.
That's what it was.
A knife to a gunfight. Yeah. So anyway, Cody was able to pull off some heelish low blows in this match, leaned into the boos that he received for it. So clearly they have acknowledged that the crowd, for the most part, is, they say it's split. I think it's more people are just tired of Cody.
I think it is too.
Yeah, so we got some "Let's go Cody, Cody sucks" chants. So, and then fans booed the shit out of his wife.
Yeah.
And I told you, if he's gonna go through and be the heel, she's got to be part of the package.
She was a heel. She was a heel in the.
You don't count that nightmare.
That's what she was trying to.
Collective shit with.
When you bring a doll down to the ring with you every goddamn week, you're a goddamn heel.
That's right.
You're a heel.
That's right. She was coming down with the doll.
Yes, with the doll. Her limited edition doll that you could only get in the one package.
At Walmart.
So, she's definitely a heel. But again, Cody doesn't want to be a heel. He's going to have to do what his wife says anyway.
Yeah,
so
this match is going Andrade with...
Yeah.
Andrade would not give the fans a table, but Cody had no problem going over to hug T-Pain and take a chair from him.
Yeah, he threw him a chair.
Yes. Brandy gets involved. Fans boo the shit out of it, and then she decides to light the table on fire. Yeah, that we got a table finally employed into this match. She lights it on fire, and then Cody decides to suplex, reverse backward suplex Andrade, both he and Andrade onto the table, and then you see more than ever the marks on Cody's back that he had already had.
Correct. And
which means one thing, and that was
they rehearsed the spot. I don't know how many times Mick Foley jumped off the cage. Oh, he didn't. They did it live. I don't know how many burning table spots they've rehearsed. Oh, they didn't with Kane. They did it live. This goes back into the whole I know Cody is so anti-New York, but he's not.
Yeah.
He's not. We workshop our promos, and now we're workshopping spots in the match.
In this match,
yes.
we had where he was like, he goes and he grabs a sledgehammer from underneath the ring, and then he grabs a golden shovel.
Yes.
So,
again, he is the most New York wrestler there is. He is the ideal New York wrestler because he does all that shit. So that was my big thing is when he first came out and his back was already like sunburnt up. I'm like, that's okay. Wrestlers don't get sunburned like that. So I knew there's got to be a spot coming up where heat is involved. And then when I saw Brandy light the fucking table, I'm like, I'm done with this. They already did the spot. That's why his back is fucking burnt. Let's just see if they don't fuck it up as much as the last time. And guess what? It looks like they still did. Because both guys were still catching on fire. The ref could not count 1, 2, 3. He had to put the fire out of Andrade before he could do the 1, 2, 3 count. Get a better pyro guy.
Or just get the Street Profits since they're shooting off fire extinguishers.
Do a little commingling there. I mean, that'll help out. But, that was like, guys, you're trying way too much with this shit. And I understand when you have a street fight match every other week, you got to do something to top the next one.
Yeah.
When are we going to blow up the ring again? That's got to be coming up, right?
Well, Khan said they plan on doing it again down the road.
Sure they will next. Well, Moxley when he comes back. Yep.
Moving on, AEW Rampage. Let's do this and get the hell up out of here. We got TNT Championship match that kicked off. Sammy Guevara beat Tony Nese after weeks of showing. Tony Nese is this big, hot free agent acquisition sitting ringside.
Yeah.
Well, we knew that if Jay Lethal couldn't beat fucking Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship, Tony Nese damn sure wasn't going to do it. He came out with the inner Enzo Amore. Well, no. Which one was wearing the leopard skin print? Was it Nese or was it Guevara? I'm trying to think. Which one had the leopard skin print? I'm like trying to visualize this right now. It doesn't matter. Guevara wins. He retains. We got Jade Cargill in action
against a jobber.
Yes,
which I'm like perfect, and she did what she was supposed to do.
Yeah, we had a brawl between her and Thunder Rosa.
Well, the aftermath fucking lasted longer than the match.
That lasted longer than the match. Yes. And then we had in the main event FTR defeating Penta El Cerro M and Pac. And
Pac's got to get a better optometrist.
What's with FTR's robes in this match? Those fucking things were huge.
Throwback to the Midnight Express.
Was Luchasaurus' fucking robe? What the fuck?
I don't know. Boxing champion robes.
We got some interference in this match. Malachi Black taking advantage. Pac had the eye patch on. He had slipped on the ropes earlier during this match. Then he got back on the ropes, do a backward somersault on FTR on the outside. That's when Malachi Black got involved. Missed it, Pac in the face into the other eye, and then proceeded to try to jam his thumb. At least this is better than Rollins and Mysterio if you're going to do the eye angle. But like you said, we've already done the Pac eye patch angle before.
Wasn't
was
AEW
it this year? Was it last year?
I think it's been in the calendar year. But wasn't AEW supposed to be the sports-based promotion? What fucking sports governing body would
digging out an eye?
Let a goddamn guy with an eye patch in a match?
Wouldn't a sporting commission?
Yeah, they would shut that shit down and say, no, you're not having the damn match with a fucking one-eyed guy. That shit's not going to happen here, pal.
Remember that Vince snitched?
Yes.
On a one-legged.
Yes.
Wasn't it a one-legged? Was it Kerry Von Erich?
Yeah, I believe.
That he snitched on?
Yes, it was.
He went and snitched for the fucking commission about him working with one fucking foot.
Yes, exactly. So why are we having this guy with one goddamn eye working? They've got to investigate that.
Anyways, Pac, he sold the black mist from Black while wearing the eye patch. Pac then legitimately, he botched a hip toss.
Yeah. The
announcers, they covered for him. They blamed the eye patch. Pac then, as I mentioned before, he went on to now I think this was planned though. He botched the on the ropes with the springboard.
Yes,
before.
he had to work
I think that he had to work the eye. They did blame that as well. Malachi, blew more black mist into the eye. Are we gonna start seeing Pac with two eye patches now?
We may as well. He's going to come out.
Do we have him? Will we have him as like Jake Roberts back in the day with the angle with Rick the Model Martel? With
the blindfold match.
The blindfold match with the arrogance, fragrance of Martel. That's one of my favorite gimmicks actually growing up. I don't think Martel got enough credit with how well he worked that angle. But anyways, this has got to be. I would be cool with that. A blindfold match of Pac and Malachi Black. Anyways, besides that. Main event was fine. It was fine for what it was.
Yep.
Being they were coming off their lowest Rampage so far, viewer-wise, from the week before with the holiday weekend. I'll give them credit for that. It was a holiday weekend. I get it. I wasn't watching it.
I wasn't either. And that's the problem they're going to have the next couple weeks. They're getting they
ripped off Penta's mask at the end of the show as well.
They did that, but I'm just thinking, okay, TNT.
FTR, that is.
They're going to lose a Friday night coming up.
Okay.
Christmas Eve. What does TNT always start Christmas Eve? 24 hours of a Christmas story. That just popped up. I'm like, where's that Rampage going to? So obviously not going to have one that night because they get way too much viewership from the 24-hour marathon.
Unless they move it to Saturday.
That's Christmas Day.
Oh, that's Christmas Day.
They ain't getting anything that week. So then the next week would be New Year's Eve. So this is basically Rampage obviously is staying on TNT, but it's going to be rough going the next couple weeks with Rampage, Dynamite. But again, Dynamite too. I haven't seen too much cross promotion of we're going to be in TBS in a damn month. Make sure you're there. Because that's the problem is they're going to lose some viewers. We've talked about this off air. Whenever anything moves, like even a major program on network TV moves from somewhere, from a night, you got to fucking promote the shit out of that because for whatever reason, people just don't get it in their minds. So they got to start getting on that.
Yeah. Another edition, that is episode 29 in the books. Our friends for the Bush League Mud Show, Slade
PJ.
Be sure to
do something.
Listen to us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Also, like and subscribe.
Get your vision checked.
We'll follow back, we promise. Yes, get your vision checked so you don't end up like Pac. But anyways, yes, follow us, social media at Bush League MS Pod. We'll talk to you next week.